So you want to make a fence in Blender. First thing you need is something to build a fence around. For me, it's going to be this nuclear power plant. Second thing you want to do is hit the cursor icon up here, and then just go to whatever corner you want to start the fence on. So right there will do. Then you want to go back to the box select here, and you want to hit Shift A, and go to Mesh, and then go to Cylinder. Now we're going to scale this down till it's just thin enough to be a pole. And then we're going to scale it up only on the Z-axis by hitting S, Z, or Z, and scaling it up like this. Just long enough. And then we're going to move it up on the Z-axis by hitting G, Z, or Z, and making it flush with the ground there. Next, we're going to hit Shift A again, go to Mesh, and this time we're going to click on the plane icon. Now we're going to move it over by hitting G, Y, or X, depending on which way you're going. For me, I'm going to be going on the Y-axis, so I'm going to hit Y and move it over here. Now you're going to rotate it on whatever axis you moved it on. So I moved on the Y-axis, so I'm going to hit R for rotate, and then Y to align it, to lock it to the Y-axis. And then I'm just going to hit 90 to rotate it 90 degrees on the Y-axis, making it vertical. And then we're going to hit G, Z, and move it up. And then we're just going to scale it till it's, aligned with this pole we've made. And you can see I went over by a little bit. You can fix that by just hitting G and Z and moving it down till it's just below it. Now what we want to do is edit this plane by going either on this drop down box to edit mode, or just by hitting tab while selected it. And then we're going to go into face select mode by either hitting this icon here or hitting 3 on the keyboard. And then you're going to click on the face of this plane. And then we're going to right click, subdivide, right click, subdivide, right click, subdivide, and right click, subdivide. You can do that as many times or as few times as you want, depending on what, how dense or how airy you want your mesh to be. And then we're just going to right click on the face again and click poke faces. And then we're going to right click on the mesh again and hit tries to quad. You can also hit Alt J for this to work. And that's going to make this really nice fishnet pattern you see here. And now we're going to go back to object mode by hitting tab, or again going to the drop down box. And then you want to, while the plane is selected, you want to go to the modifiers menu and go to the wireframe add-on right at the bottom here. And that's going to make your mesh fence right there. You can make it as, thick or as thin as you want, depending on what you want to do with it, but I'm just fine with the default, so I'm just going to Control Z that. And there you go, you've made a fence, but obviously you're going to want it to be like completely along one side of your building. So to do that, we're going to use an array modifier. And to do that again, all you're going to do is, first of all, apply this this modifier here. You're going to click on the mesh, and then you're going to click on the pole you've made. And then we're going to right click, join. And that's going to make these two objects combine into one object. And then next what we're going to do, we're going to apply all the transforms by hitting Control A and then hit all transforms. And then we're going to hit right click on the object and go to set origin back to the 3D cursor. It's going to put the origin right there. And then from this, we're going to click on the object, and then we're going to add a modifier and an array modifier. And you can play with this to find what axis you need to move it on. For me, it's going to be -1 on the y-axis and 0 on every other axis. And you can see that perfectly lines it up and connects it. And then we're just basically going to increase this number right here, the count of it, until it reaches whatever side we need it to be on. So we just need one more here, and as you can see, it overlaps it. So what do you do here? We're going to hit S, again, with the object selected, and then since I'm moving it on the Y-axis, I'm going to hit Y and scale it down until it reaches the corner there. And then if you want it on another side, all you have to do is hit Shift D to duplicate it and rotate it on the Z-axis again. And hit 90 or -90 depending on where it is, and then you can just line it up. It should already be aligned, but it might be misaligned a little bit, but as you see, mine's already aligned. And this will result, as you see, in a very high poly mesh. And you can always fix this by hitting a decimate or just deleting some faces depending on what you want to do and what you want to use it for. But this is going to make a very high poly mesh.